um, and because I was talking to her about, and we talked about this, in a previous meeting, is, what is your unique selling point? What makes you different from all the other Toastmasters clubs? And at one time, virtual Toastmasters, it was like, wow, these are the only guys in the world that do this. So if you want to really connect, these are the guys to join. Today, everybody's virtual. So we have to look at other things that make us unique, that say, this is why, this is what's going to attract members. And that can be a real challenge to figure out exactly what that is. In my business, I'm a professional speaker, and one of the things in my business is when I first got into this business, I could talk to anybody on any subject. Well, that got disabused rather quickly. So you have to understand, you have to develop an expertise in a niche, and if you understand who your niche and your niche market is, then it's very easy to market to them, and it's very easy to get the right messages out that attract attention. And my customer is a small rural US critical access hospital with 25 beds or less. That's it. I don't want 26 beds, not interested. The smaller the better, because that's my niche market. And business comes to me because they know that. And it's the same thing with Toastmasters. One of the clubs I belong to is Keystone Speakers, which is focused on developing the skills needed to apply for the accredited speaker designation. And there's no manual in Toastmasters that teaches you how to do that. We have members in the United States. We have a member in Australia who I'm mentoring that found us because this is what she was looking for. So she's our ideal customer. A Toastmaster who wants to get the accredited speaker. So the question we always have to ask is, what is your unique selling point? And I'm thinking, Franck Parleur, you're the only true French club, because I know that because you're not the bilingual club, correct, Carrie?
Franck Parleur is the bilingual club.
You are the bilingual club.
The only bilingual.
So an Anglo like me who knows 12 French words could come and embarrass the heck out of himself, but hopefully learn a little French. But the
one thing we did recently in our clubs is we voted to make a commitment to people joining that we would be online for the entire dues period. Mm-hmm. At Franck Parleur, we signed up someone who lives in Wisconsin. And if we're going to sign up members from that far away and take their money, we better be able to offer the service for the entire dues period.
Exactly.
Something to think about.
And it's my personal opinion that even once all of this pandemic is over, what's going to happen is that we will be running hybrid clubs. I just think that's going to be a fact. It's going to be a fact of life. Some people are going to want to come together. The folks that have joined us from afar are going to want to stay connected, and we're going to have to figure out ways to do that. We've done that at Keystone because we've always been a hybrid club, although I don't think we had permission, but we always felt it's easier to ask for forgiveness sometimes than it is to ask for permission. But it works, and everybody, it seems to work well. So we want to talk tonight a little bit about social media, because I think social media and this whole marketing on the internet is such a key and critical thing for us. And I'm not going to get into a lot of nitty gritty, although I want to float a couple of ideas past you just to see if there's some interest. But recently, as part of my job at the district is, to try to help clubs grow. And I've been approached by some clubs, can you come out? Can you help us? Whatever. And I've said, sure. And, we managed for one club to appoint a club coach. And you may have seen her if you're on the Facebook site, the district Facebook. You might have seen the plea for come on out and join us on Monday nights. So I decided I was going to go to the first meeting that she was the club coach, just to welcome her, to say hi, etc. Give her a little support. And I decided to take a very different tactic. I decided that I would not send an email to a club executive and say, hi, I'd like to come to the meeting. Can you send me the link? I decided to be Joe Blow on the street. Joe Blow on the street says, I got nothing to do Monday night. I heard of this Toastmasters thing. Maybe I'll find something. Let's go see what it's all about. So I went to find them. So I went to the Toastmasters, the Free Toast website. First thing on the banner says, we're not meeting in person. We're not meeting. I'm going, okay. Second line says, we're meeting online. Geez, get rid of the first one. We're now meeting online because of COVID would be a far better introduction than we're not meeting. But nowhere. So then finally, if you want to attend the meeting, click here. So I clicked there, popped open an email. I typed in, I said, hi, I'd love to come to your meeting. Could you please send me a link? Send. Away it went. And then I was on Meetup, and I found them on Meetup because a lot of clubs now are putting stuff on Meetup. And it says, if you want to join the meeting, you know, we're meeting at such and such a place, which I know is no good, but, you know, click here. We clicked there to register. So I registered for the meeting. They said, oh, I got this instant, you know, email back from a Meetup saying, oh, really great. We're looking forward to it. I never got a link.
Oh, no.
I never got a link. So I'm saying to myself, how serious are you getting new members if what you've got out on social media isn't current, it's not up to date, and do you know if it works? So that's really a big caution that I have for clubs is, have you got into your free Toast Host site and that landing page? So when people open that page up and they look at your club information, is what you have there going to entice them to say, I want to come here, and they're gonna make that second click to contact someone to get the link, or however you decide to publicize that link. But you know, I was just amazed. So what does your look like? You know, what makes you special that can really that'll attract business? That's what you have to look for, and it's discussions that you have to have at that club level. What makes us unique? You know, and I'm not going to pick on people here, but I'm going to pick on Diana a little bit. So I'm not going to pick on you, but I'm going to use ASAP as a great example of that. So for instance, for ASAP does not want the guy who just says, I got nothing to do on a Saturday morning. I think I'm going to go to ASAP Toastmasters, right? You want people with, I think, what, at least a level now, what?
At least the old CC or a level 1 and 2 of Pathways.
Okay, so a level one or two or a CC at a minimum, and then once you get there, you got to do a whole bunch of other stuff before you get in. I understand that. And why? It's because they're an advanced club to drive skills to a much higher level, right? So that's the unique selling point of ASAP. Do you want to drive your speaking skills to a much higher level than you would in a normal Toastmasters program? More rigorous evaluations, much more challenging table topics because of the length, etc. So those are the kinds of things that make ASAP different than Key Club Toastmasters, who I belong to besides Keystone. So does that landing page really tell the story of your club? And if it tells the story of your club, have you really highlighted that, you know, we're meeting online now, and have you highlighted how to get a hold of you? And when you've highlighted how to get a hold of you, when you click that and what comes up, when you fill that out and you send it, is it going? Are people responding? You've got to do audits just to make sure your stuff is working. It's the same thing with Meetup. I think Meetup is great. I think that it's a real opportunity for us to market our clubs. Again, what's our unique selling point, and to put it onto Meetup. But again, when someone registers for Meetup, who's getting the information, and are we getting the links out? Or can we does Meetup let us automatically in the reply send the link? I don't know the answer to that because I'm not a Meetup expert. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is our social media really working? I'm a big LinkedIn guy, and not so much of Facebook, but I'm a LinkedIn guy because for me, LinkedIn is better for my business than Facebook, and I use LinkedIn as a business networking tool. But and so I know that there was a couple of clubs recently that did open houses, and they wanted to blast their open house all over the place on LinkedIn. So they did, because I'm linked with them, so I saw some of the ads. But I'm not going to talk about the ads. I want to talk processes. They advertise that through their own personal LinkedIn pages, which is a good thing. But the question I have to ask them is, do you have a club business LinkedIn page? So in other words, do you have a Keystone Speakers Toastmasters LinkedIn page? Do you have an ASAP Toastmasters LinkedIn page? Do you have a whatever club virtual Toastmasters LinkedIn page? And is that set up again with your unique selling point where you can now draw people to that page? And how do you draw people to that page? You draw people to the page by posting. You post regularly, you do meeting updates, you try to get members to to post comments or whatever. Again, to try to drive business to your LinkedIn page so you can market what you're doing there as well. And it's a great way to do that. And the question I have for you guys is, would there be value in doing a live webinar to show people how to set up that LinkedIn page for the club?
Sure, I'm very familiar with LinkedIn, but I'm sure there's some nuggets that you could share specifically to set it up for the club. Yeah.
I would be
Do you
interested.
think it would work for ASAP?
Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to be honest. I'm working now on a. You can actually buy advertising on LinkedIn, and I'm actually putting a program together. I want to put in some LinkedIn ads for the district. You know, so can we now put advertising out where you see that stuff come up once in a while? Can we get some enticing advertising that perhaps will draw members to our club? So that's one thing that I'm doing. That I want to do for the district, that I'm tasked with now putting an action plan together and a budget to make that happen. But I know there's money, so I like to spend money. So I certainly would like to promote the district via paid advertising. But I'd also like to see clubs have their own LinkedIn page, because again, that's a great way. It's a great way to bring prominence to the club and to get attention from people. I also
my experience with.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say my experience with LinkedIn. I've never joined it, but other people that I know have joined it. And it appears that once you join it, everybody on your email program suddenly gets messages from LinkedIn to join it. It becomes a real pain that way.
That's only if you allow it. I did not allow that. I did not allow that. No way. No one goes into my contact list. That's no. So you have to grant permission to that. So if they did that, that means they said yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know from my own LinkedIn page, I've been very again, you want to build networks. And I've been for my own personal page, I've been very diligent in looking for healthcare executives in small 25 beds or less rural critical access hospitals in the United States, because that's my customer. And probably 40 to 60% of my contacts are people in those positions, because that's my wheelhouse. That's where people know me or have gotten to know me. I also had the opportunity to meet a young lady, quite, I guess not by accident, but some of you may have heard the name Bob Huey. He was our regional advisor a couple of years ago. Bob and I first met in 1998 at the International Convention, when we were both too cheap to stay at the hotel where the convention was. And Bob got his accredited speaker designation, and I was a contestant in the contest. So Bob and I have known each other for years, and he has what he calls Coffee with Bob at 9 a.m. Winnipeg time on Friday mornings. If you're interested, I can send you a link. So I pop in every once in a while for coffee, and there's all kinds of interesting people, literally from all around the world there. And I met a young lady last week who I'd never met before. And I found out that she had just finished doing a presentation somewhere, and I don't know where, but it was one of the districts for a TLI or something. But it was about promoting your club on social media, specifically Facebook and Instagram. And I said to her, "You now have my 100% total attention, because I know nothing about Instagram." So she was chatting a little bit, and I said to her, "Hey, would you be willing to do something for us, like to do an educational session?" She said, "Yeah, absolutely." So would there be value in having like a webinar, doing something like this, a special? We can record it and put it up somewhere so people have access to that, where she comes in and talks to us about how to effectively use Facebook and Instagram in promoting our clubs. Would there be value in that?
Absolutely. I think there would be.
Well,
Yes.
I will make all of those arrangements. I will probably start with her because I think that, you know, and Bob told me, he said she did a great job. So if Bob Huey said she did a great job, that's high praise, high praise. I will ask her to, and then we'll set it up, and then we'll advertise it to the district and whatever. So we'll probably, I'm thinking January, just to give her a chance so that we can really promote it as well at the next couple of district council meetings and get it out in a couple of newsletters. Because if we're going to do it, then it's nice to get an audience. I don't know if there's a slot at TLI for this, so we'll have to see. But if there isn't, we can do it. We can do it separately. And of course, as I say, we will record that and make sure that it's available for folks. All right, I'm looking at my agenda. My wife is unfortunately at another meeting that she had to go to tonight. However, she heard me practicing, so she said, "I think I get it." So I guess the purpose of tonight, I think the takeaway for tonight is, and something for you to think about is, are you going to check out what's going on with your club? You know, have a look at your Free Toast host. What's your landing page look like? If you were just Joe Blow off the street, or if you were a seasoned Toastmaster, as the folks that are looking, you know, for Diane's club, for ASAP, if you saw what was there, would that get you excited enough to click to say, I need more information? That's really the key. So what is that landing
I
page?
hope so. Yay, I think.
Oh, you
Sorry.
said.
I found the setting and now it works. Yay. So that's why I have to say something just to test it. But I think that's a great idea, Michael. I haven't actually gone into it with that in mind, thinking, okay, I've never been here before. Is this going to tell me what I need to know? So I will definitely go and check that out. Thank you.
So how does it look like to the stranger? What unique thing is there that'll draw me in? And does the link work? You may have, pardon me, you may also have a WordPress website, because some clubs do. And it's the same thing on the landing page on that WordPress website. What does that look like? Does that attract people? The other thing, by the way, on ASAP, and again, this is an observation, Diane, please, this is not a criticism, all right? It's an observation. In the quotes,
Got it.
right? Not one of those people, that's just standard Toastmaster stuff. In other words, it's just stuff that Toastmasters uses as default stuff. Strongly recommend in those comments, in the member comments, can you actually get your members to make those comments? So that if I'm reading something and then I read this and I show up and, you know, I'm going to PBS and I'm going, oh my gosh, there's Deb Solveson. You know, I read that on the website, because what you write, your comment might have been the thing, again, that tweaks somebody to say, I want to come to the meeting, right? So again, the member comments, if you could make those your member comments, I think that's really key and critical to really drive this as well. If you have a WordPress
coming into the site, I'm sorry, I can't remember. When people coming into your site, do they actually see the member comments, or do you have to be a member to see that?
No, there's a menu that anybody coming in can see, because I looked. And when you click on the member comments, there's some really great comments, but none of them are they're not members of your club. They're just sort of standard Toastmasters promotional material that they have that folks have done. And I know, you know, I know the real. It's just that it would be nice to actually see member comments. Oh, you know, this really helped me. You know, whatever.
Actually,
but don't you do that already on your profile?
On which profile?
Well, on your website profile, or your, whatever it's called, there's individual member profiles that you can write.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are, but there's also, I don't know if you make member comments, if that flips down to the member comments. Let's see if I can, see if I can show you what that looks like. Is this going to let me know? My machine froze. I can't find my dang. No, it's not going to work. I can't find my, oh, wait, no, there it is. Oh, I found it. Hang on. Let's see if we can. Let's see. Bear with me a minute. My internet is slow tonight. Here we are. I've been on so many Toastmasters websites. I don't know if it's ASAP or somebody else, but you know what, Diane? We'll use you guys as the example. So here's ASAP. Meetings have moved online. You know, it's Advanced Club. Contact us for details. Let me move it down. Cool picture of real members. That's really cool. You can see there's a members only thing, but there's also, oh, what site was I on? Was it Rivers? Maybe it was River City. Maybe it was River City. Bear with me.
Members, but what is in there?
Oops, that's not what I want. All right. My internet is not, oh, here we go.
It's always slower when you use Zoom.
Yeah, and my wife is Barbara's on a call as well. You can see here, all meetings are suspended till further notice. I would have put, we're now meeting online in yellow in the red box. But again, that's just the, was it here, meet our members? Was it here?
No, good point.
Where was it? Dang. Now I'm embarrassed because I don't know which club it was. I don't know
That
which.
pink is really awful.
Pardon?
Yeah.
You can't even read that.
Well, that's the
I
other
can read
thing.
it, but you're right.
It's cute, but yeah, it's very hard on the eyes. Very.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know. I've been fiddling around on so many different club sites the last few days. Why did my power just die? That I don't know. I don't know which. I don't know which club it was. But anyway, I think that for homework is check your club to see if stuff is up to date. Check your club to see if everything works, so that and that people are getting back, just to make sure that we're not missing opportunities. Are you guys still there?
Yep, we are.
Okay, because something.
It just says that you have low bandwidth and you went into a little square instead of a big square.
Yeah, something weird happened though too. Is my lights died. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, hang on. Oh, there we go. One of those nights.
Sometimes if you turn your video off and just hear you, then it's much better.
Then
But we
just,
can still hear you. I mean,
okay. If I
fine.
turn my video off, I've got my clown picture on it because somebody was making disparaging remarks about clowns. So I said, you know, as a professional clown and children's entertainer, I said, I take offense at being compared to politicians because we're better than that. Anyway, so homework. What would really be cool if you would check your, pardon me, go and check your stuff, the way stuff looks on the web. Have a look at your Toastmasters, your Toast host page. You know, would that attract potential guests? Make sure the members' comments are there. I can't remember what club it is now. Was it virtual? I don't know. I just been looking at so many clubs lately. It's crazy. So have a look at that. The other thing too is, does your club have a Facebook page? Because your club can have a Facebook page, and if it has a Facebook page, are you posting on it regularly? The key to the whole social media is the more you post is when the bots go around and check websites, they look for activity, and the more activity, the higher up you come on the food chain. So the more that you can put on there, and it doesn't have to be long, just talk about, you know, what happens at your meetings or whatever, the better you get. I know on my LinkedIn page, excuse me, I'm apparently very active there, but I do have a bit of a confession to make. I pay someone to manage my site. They don't write my content. She has all the various articles and books and stuff that I've written, and she goes and finds stuff that amuses her and posts. But we post a couple, 3 times a week, and it raises visibility. So that's, I think, is key and critical. So check your Facebook page, see what that's all about. I will arrange sometime probably in the new year to do a couple of webinars, and I want to start to do marketing webinars on how to create a LinkedIn page. And we'll get that other one together, is how do we market our Toastmasters clubs using Facebook and Instagram. And I think that would be very, very valuable. I think especially for me, because I know nothing about Instagram. So that would be very, very helpful and useful for me. The other thing too is really important. You know, we talk about relationships, and, you know, sometimes the complaints that we get is that, you know, we're not meeting in person now. We don't get that connection anymore. You know, that meeting, and certainly I miss that as much as anyone, because this just isn't the same sitting in a room with you guys on a screen. So we think of that, yet, you know, some of the most fundamental and easiest things to do to really connect with people is to call them and say, hi, how you doing? We haven't seen you out in the club in a little while. You know, we know you didn't, you know, how you doing? We know that perhaps you didn't renew. So can you tell me why? You know, what could we have done better? What can we do to entice you back? We know that, you know, everyone has a different reason for joining Toastmasters. You know, some guys, and I always use the example of, you know, a guy will sign up in September, October, because he's the best man at his buddy's wedding in June. He's got to make a speech, right? So the wedding's over, he's done. But you know what? That's okay, because they got what they needed out of it. But sometimes people leave because they just don't feel welcome anymore. So I think that connection is really, really important. So keep in contact with folks. And, you know, as folks join and leave your club, find out what enticed them to join, because that's really valuable, because that really helps us when we're trying to develop marketing strategies. What was the thing that drew them in? What was the thing that got them to sign? That makes a big deal. And if we can find out why people are leaving, that helps us as well, because that helps us to develop best practices to eliminate those kind of dissatisfiers that drive people away. So the challenge I have for you guys is, what are you going to do this month? I'm not going to ask you to make a public commitment, but I'm going to ask you rhetorical questions for yourselves. What are you going to do this month to help increase membership at your club, or clubs, as the case may be, because many of you are members in multiple clubs? So does anyone have any comments, questions?
Michael, when is the meeting in December? What date?
Good question. Second Tuesday is the 10th.
The 10th?
Yep.
Okay, I leave that day, so I won't be there,
Well,
unfortunately.
where are you going this time? Am I going to be jealous?
I'm going- Yes, yes. A small island called Coco, right off of Cuba. And apparently they have not one COVID case there. And so you don't even have to wear masks in the resort. Yes. Yeah, so I'm excited. I can't wait.
Well, we're going to take a vote next time, Diane, to see if we're going to talk to you in January.
Absolutely.
So you're gonna blog your dives, right?
Yes, I will. And you'll get a copy. You're still on the list unless you want off.
No. Leave me on the list. Yeah. Now, Diane and I share a passion for scuba diving. So every time she goes away, she writes a blog. So if you're interested in diving, talk to Diane. Get put on her list. It's very cool. It steered me away from some places I thought I should go, and has made my wish list a lot longer. But anyway, it's the first winter, and I think we don't even know when the last time we stayed home in the winter. But we're not going anywhere this winter because
I know. I'm hoping that they don't cancel it. Yeah.
Well, I hope that for you as well. Anyone else? Any comments, questions?
You know, I'd like to say something.
Sure.
We met over the summer for the first time in years. I can't even remember the last time PBS met over the summer. But we decided that since we were online, it really wasn't any different from week, and it wasn't that difficult to do. So we did. And we noticed something when we came back, that there were certain members that just didn't buy into this online business. I mean, we're a fairly old club to begin with. Average mean age is well over 40. And so I decided what I was going to do is I was going to actually talk to each of the people that weren't coming. So I wrote them a really nice email that was totally personalized. It had no canned version of I miss you kind of thing. It would say, you know, you contributed so much to Table Topics when you blah, you know, we really miss this about you. And they were fairly lengthy emails. They were at least 2 or 3 paragraphs. And I got answers from all of them.
Wow, nice.
Every one of them. And all of them were thrilled that I took the time to do that. 3 of them came back at the next meeting.
Awesome. Way to go, Dad. Way to go. That's great.
And 2, well, one had not come to the online meetings because she does that all day at work.
Yeah.
She says she'd be thrilled and more than happy to join us again when we're meeting in person, but she just couldn't bear to continue doing it for another even couple hours. And the other person didn't have the funds anymore. It wasn't her high priority anymore. So those were all really valid reasons.
Very valid.
You know, and it was nice to see that it took so little effort, really, and yielded such good results.
No, yeah.
And did those 3 people come back and join again?
They did.
Awesome. Way to go, Deb. Awesome.
Go.
That's a great idea.
And I can understand.
I think the trick there.
You know, there's days I'm in this room over 10 hours. Between working at Toastmasters and then get up the next morning for a Toastmasters meeting, like seriously?
I hear you.
And since my wife's a member of that club too, I have to go. So, but
Well, you know what? I have a meeting on Monday night. I have a meeting on Tuesday night. I'm now going to be doing this once a month. And I have other things like Sherry isn't seeing anybody. My best friend Lori isn't seeing anybody. So the only time we meet is on Zoom.
Yeah.
Pretty soon I'm going to have to pencil George in for some time.
I have to schedule time for Rick too, because I'm in 3 or 4 Zoom calls, trainings and everything daily. And it gets a little overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, I work full time out of the house too.
Oh,
So I have I have not missed a day since March 20th when the world closed down. I've been at work every day.
So you're an essential worker.
Yeah.
I haven't even been sick. Yeah,
It's the same with Barbara.
my office is essential.
That was essential, and it's been open and full staff.
Well, we're not full staff. Most everybody is working from home. But part of my job, a big part of my job is switchboard.
Oh,
So I need to support the people that are calling in for our support workers, the doctors, the nurses, and whomever that might need to speak to the coordinators or the care planners. And I have to be there to coordinate all of that. And quite frankly, yeah, I was told like it was a voluntary thing. I didn't have to do it. So.
do you have to wear a mask all day? I hope not. Oh, yes? Oh, I can't.
And I had a plastic one and it looked like a welder's mask.
Okay,
But when we went code red last week,
yeah.
not allowed to wear it anymore. Because
Is that right?
it's open at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So it doesn't meet the requirements.
that's too bad. I got one from Monique Levesque-Farrow. She was making them.
Oh, she was
for-
making them, yeah.
Yeah.
And
for Health Sciences Center as a fundraiser. So I got one
Okay.
from her, but I just find that I can't breathe. I wear it for 10 minutes in a store and I'm going, let me out of here.
I have a,
Well,
I have
don't
a
know how
24-inch, I guess, bulletin board in my room, right? And all these little pegs on top of it. And there's a mask hanging from each one. There's probably, well, I use 4 of them a day.
Wow.
Because I find the
I'm
triple
gonna make you
masks.
jealous now. My mask is a diver down flag.
Oh, okay. Do you go anywhere, Michael?
Pardon?
Do you go in public anywhere?
Just to go grocery shopping. That's it.
And you wear a mask for that.
I wear a mask. Absolutely. When I leave the house, I wear a mask. But I'm working, but everything's by Zoom. I have clients that you can't even imagine in the States how rampant it is in some places.
It's ridiculous.
Frightening. It's frightening.
Yeah.
It's frightening. One nursing home that I work with, they have 64 beds, 61 cases.
Wow.
Yeah, that's scary. We're really lucky because we have a workforce of about 1,000 support workers. And our office is really on top of reporting and disclosure kind of thing. And we've had 1 support worker and 1 mid-level staff worker
Get COVID.
get COVID.
Oh.
So we're
One
pretty
last
lucky.
question before we close off, though. What do we want to talk about next month?
I have a question
Sure.
before. Assiniboine Toastmasters doesn't have very many members, but they've got a lot of money in the bank. Oh, wait. I think you lost me. Okay,
No,
I'm
I'm
back.
here.
What is the best investment? I'm just saying, what is the best bang for your buck if you've got some money and you want to put it into membership building?
Steak dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody on this call would be there. I bet you Deborah might even come up from Chattanooga. That's really a good question, and I guess that's to answer that question. We have to fundamentally answer the question: what makes Assiniboine unique? What does your typical member look like? Who are you trying to attract? And once you know the answer to that question, it becomes easier then to decide where to spend the money. And I think that's a question that you have to answer. You know, when I'm thinking in terms of a LinkedIn ad campaign to attract people to Toastmasters, if we look at our demographics, I hate this. Geez, these lights keep going out. I hate to say this, but most of us are gray hairs or no hairs.
Not me.
Or no hairs. So what the demographic I think that we're missing is the millennials and the Gen Xers. So I want to focus on the millennials and Gen Xers. Now there's some great advertising stuff for that. If you go look at Toastmasterseurope.org at the Moonlit Project, they've put together all kinds of of ads with, with the right graphics, with the right branding. It's all in English, makes it even better. So there's a lot of material there that we can use to help us build clubs here in Canada and in the US. And they did a fabulous job. This was an unbelievable HPL. It's just unreal. It was a 90-minute debrief on a webinar that I attended in the summer. And they just did an amazing, amazing, amazing job. So the Moonlit Project, ToastmastersEurope.org, and then the Moon, you just go on the menu, look at the Moonlit Project, everything's there. So again, Wayne, that may help answer, that may not answer your question, but it's a great resource for material if you're going to do any kind of a campaign. And even if you want to do, a Facebook campaign on your Facebook page for your club, what are we looking for? Have a look there. And it's interesting because in the studies that they did, they found out that things that apply that millennials don't necessarily appeal to the Gen Xers or catch their attention the same way. So they actually had different advertising programs for each demographic they were looking for. So these guys did a really, really intense job. I was very impressed, and I'm old and cynical. I don't impress easily anymore. I was impressed with these guys. They did one heck of a job. So I don't know. I hope that helps you, Wayne. So what should we talk about next month? Other than talk about Diane, because she's going to be warm and going scuba diving, and we'll be here being cold.
Actually, I might be able to attend because I'm actually going to be at the Sheraton Hotel overnight in Toronto. So if I should, maybe I can. Well,
if you can attend, great. If you just want to sort of skip one, what the heck? You're entitled to a vacation,
Yeah, right.
All right, I'll come up with something and we'll float it around the group. So any last questions or comments? Deborah, you're new to our little group. Did you find this useful?
Yeah, I'm new to this position also, so I kind of wasn't sure what direction to go in, but I was thinking LinkedIn would be a good strategy. Yeah, I can't imagine how Instagram that would work, but yeah, definitely I think LinkedIn would be a good way to go.
Yeah.
Isn't Instagram mostly pictures?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why we want to get
Well, if you have an active club, it could be very, very effective.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of you standing with your Toastmaster gang in front of a monument of some sort.
Yeah, and if you want to go for the younger people, TikTok is really popular.
Exactly.
Yeah. We just have to find the right media or the right social media, and then the right way to market on the media. That's the key. So I'm actually looking, I'm excited about the Instagram and Facebook because I don't understand Instagram. I know a little bit about Facebook. I know a little bit about LinkedIn, but Instagram, I'm just totally whatever. All right, folks, we're way over time, so I appreciate your coming. Have a great month. We talked, I gave you some ideas for some next steps. Try them out, see how they work. And of course, the best way to connect with people, pick up the phone and talk. That's really, especially today when we can't meet in person, it really does give a much more intimate connection. And the other beautiful thing too is, they can delete your emails and ignore your tweets, but it's a lot harder to ignore a phone that's always ringing. All right.
Unless you have call display.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, well, good. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening. We'll see you next month.
Bye. Nice to meet everybody.
Bye.
Yes, me too.